Hello everyone, my name is Jamin. Thanks so much for visiting my channel. In this video, I have a Lenovo ThinkBook 14, the Gen 7 Intel model. I'm going to take you on a teardown or disassembly tour, show you how to get inside the computer, and many of the components you can access or upgrade once you're inside. So first thing, make sure you've powered down your computer. Also make sure it's unplugged from the charger. We're then going to flip your computer over to access the bottom case screws. You have a total of 9 screws on your bottom case. The 4 on the bottom near the red arrows will come out of the case completely. The rest of the screws near the blue arrows, those are called captive screws. Those will stay in the bottom case even though you fully unscrew them from the threading. After you have all of your screws up, you're going to take a small flat pry tool. You're going to start generally in the back near one of the 2 corners and pry that up, pry that seam up from the rest of the computer. So you'll start back here near a corner, you'll come in here, take this section off, and then you work your way down the sides. Don't put the pry tool too far in, you could damage some internal components. Keep it on the edge, go nice and slow but firm, and you'll be able to get that bottom case off. When you do, this is what you're looking at for the inside of your computer. Now, as a general computer repair side note, whenever I'm working on a computer in my shop, it's sitting on an anti-static mat. Either that or an anti-static bracelet are great ideas to avoid damaging anything in your computer when you're working on it. If you would like help with any tools or supplies for your computer project, as well as any upgrade and replacement parts for this specific model, the 14G7, I will have a link above, also below in the description, and that'll be a list of all the tools and supplies that I use, plus all the upgrade and replacement parts for this model computer. Now, before touching anything in a computer, it's always best to remove or at least unplug your battery. Computers are safer to work on when as little power as possible is running through them. This is your battery right down here near the bottom of my screen. This is an 11.52 volt battery, 45 watt hour. And the replacement part number for this is L22B3PE0. I will have all that information below in the description if you need it. Also, guys, there is an upgradable battery option for this that's a 60 watt hour battery. So I will have, again, all that information below in the description, but I will have both battery replacement options for you in that list I told you about with all of the replacement and upgrade parts for this model computer. To get at the battery plug, as you see, it's kind of underneath this shield right here. So you can go ahead and peel that up nice and slow and careful, and you can get that off. Once you do, you can gain access to the plug. This battery is held in by these 5 screws near the red arrows, and it plugs into the motherboard right here. Now, it's generally best to not pull on wires or cables in a computer. You could damage them, and sometimes you can pull them right out of the plug. But in this case, because there wasn't a lot of grip on that plug, I did have to grab it right here. I grabbed the wires right near the black tape, which is probably why they're there. And I pulled on it, wiggled it a little bit. I was careful not to go too hard, but I was able to wiggle that out of that plug from this area here. And for you guys that are removing your battery, be very careful down here. These speaker wires run through here. They're threaded through the bottom of the battery. So don't just rip that battery out. Make sure you carefully take these wires out from in between that threading first. And I guess the last thing I'll mention about this kind of an operation, if you are here because your computer's not turning on, it could be a bad battery and you may need to replace it. But keep in mind that laptops should still turn on and work even with a bad battery, as long as they're plugged in. So if your computer is not working at all, there may be another reason why than just a bad battery. If you would like to troubleshoot that issue, I will have a video tutorial link above, also below in the description, and that will show you how to troubleshoot a laptop that's not turning on so you can find the cause and how to fix it. Underneath this guard that was here, you see your 2 RAM ports. This computer takes DDR5 RAM at 5600 megahertz. The listed maximum capacity for this computer in the manual is 64 gigabytes. However, because of the processor this computer has, it should be able to handle up to 96 gigabytes of RAM if you guys want that much speed. So I will have all that RAM spec information below in the description if you would like it, but I will also include several replacement and upgrade options in that link I told you about with all of the tools and supplies and parts for this computer. I will have an 8 GB stick and a 12 GB stick. If you're looking to just add a little bit of RAM, or if you're looking to replace one that went bad, but you don't want to spend too much money. As far as upgrades, I will have a 16 GB kit, which will include two 8 GB sticks, one for each port. I will have a 32 GB kit, a 64 GB kit, and then ultimately that 96 GB kit if you guys want to really max out your RAM with either that 64 or that 96. The way that the RAM works, there's a spring-loaded metal arm on either side. To get the RAM out, you would gently pry those apart from each other, away from the RAM. The stick will then release. Often it will pop up a little bit, and you can slide it out of this port right here. To get the RAM back in, if you notice, there's a long side to the RAM stick and a short side. So you can only put that RAM in one way, the correct way. You can't put it in upside down. Once you get it in there nice and flush and straight, make sure the gold section here is nice and even across the length of this port. Once it's good, you would press down in the center of the stick. These arms will latch onto it and hold it in place. As far as storage, you have an M.2 port right here to the right of your battery, and you also have one right here to the right of your fan. Many of you will have a 2242 size solid-state drive here with an extender on it so it can screw in here. There's quite a lot of room for upgrades here, especially considering you have two ports. One thing to note on this solid-state drive port is when you remove the 2242, you notice that this thermal pad has been placed directly in the center of it. Now that may work well for a 2280 longer solid-state drive, but for this one that they put in the computer, it's kind of off-center. So you can peel that up and move it a little up here so it actually does its job well on that 2242, assuming you're keeping that size solid-state drive. I will have all the solid-state drive specifications down below in the description if you need it for reference. However, in that link I told you about with all of the tools and supplies and parts for this computer, I will have several replacement and upgrade options for you to choose from. As far as these smaller 2242s, I will have a 256 gigabyte, a 512 gigabyte, and a 1 terabyte option for you if you want to stay with these smaller size drives. And as far as the longer 2280s, I will have a 1 terabyte, a 2 terabyte, and a 4 terabyte if you're looking to really give this computer a good upgrade. One thing to mention about this, if you're installing an additional drive and keeping the one you have, then this won't apply. But if you're installing a new drive, maybe this one went bad or you're just outright replacing it. If you install a new drive, you may need to install an operating system onto that drive afterwards. I will have two video links below in the description. One will help you install Windows 10. The other will show you how to install Windows 11. And if the old drive you're replacing has gone bad, if there is data on it that you want to save, be aware that it's usually possible to recover data even from bad drives. I will have more information about that below in the description as well. Your Wi-Fi card is right up here near the top of my screen. It's held down by a single screw on the left. Once that screw comes up, you can pull the card to the left out of this port right here. All you'll have after that is your antenna wire, the black and the gray one. Those are just snaps, guys, so you can pull that directly up and off of that Wi-Fi card, and they'll just unsnap from the card. However, to get them back on, they do need to be at a perfect 90-degree angle to snap them back onto the Wi-Fi card. And you are strong enough to damage them if they're not at the right angle and you try to force it. So just go slow, be patient. It's probably going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt if you're not used to it, but you will be able to get those on correctly. I will have a Wi-Fi replacement option below in the description in that link I told you about with all of the tools, supplies, and upgrade parts for this computer. I will also have all the Wi-Fi information below in the description if you want to find your own Wi-Fi card replacement. And just as some advice, if you're here because you cannot see any Wi-Fi options, if you can't locate your Wi-Fi options, you can't find any networks, it may be a bad Wi-Fi card, but it may be a system or driver issue as well. I will have a video tutorial link above in the video, also below in the description, and it will show you how to solve that problem if you're not able to find your Wi-Fi options, so you may not have to come in here and do this. Your CMOS battery is right up here to the left of my fan, and it's held inside this cradle right here. For those of you who are here to replace this, I will have a replacement option below in the description in that link I told you about with all of the tools and supplies and replacement parts. Just be aware that this cradle can be very fragile. Be careful when taking it out that you don't break it, because if you do, then the other CMOS battery won't fit in there very well. If you do break it, it's usually this part right down here. Now, underneath this, you have some springs that push it up and keep it secure. To get the battery out, you would take a small flat pry tool, slide it into this groove to slide the battery down a little bit into this chamber, and then you can pop it out. But again, be careful not to break that. For those of you here to reset BIOS, you don't need to replace your battery. You just need to pop it out maybe for 15-20 seconds, and then you can put it back in. That's usually sufficient time to reset BIOS. Keep in mind though, in most cases, that will not reset your BIOS password. It will just reset your BIOS system settings. For more information on BIOS password resets, check out below in the description. Now you have one set of speakers right here towards the left of my screen. This one does not plug into the motherboard itself. It's wired down through here, again, through your battery, down over here to the right to this speaker, and this speaker plugs into the motherboard here. So to get your speakers out, you have to again make sure that these wires are unrun from the battery. The speakers themselves are not actually screwed down to the computer. If you notice these orange rubber washers over these posts for sound insulation, that's all that's holding them down. So you can very easily just wiggle those right up to get those speakers out, and make sure that you don't pull on these wires. Speaker wires are very fragile. Just use your fingernails or a pry tool on either one of these tabs on that plug to wiggle that out of that port. I will try to have a speaker replacement option for you below in the description in that link I told you about, with all of the tools and supplies and replacement parts for this computer. And I will also add that if you are having sound quality issues in your computer, if your sound is not consistent across different types of software, it's probably not a speaker issue. Your speakers are probably fine. You're probably looking at a system or a driver issue. Below in the description and above in the video, I will have a video tutorial link showing you how to make sure all of your system drivers are updated so you can rule that out first. This is your fan right here. Up top of my screen, this is your heatsink going from the vent over your CPU and your heat spreader right here. The fan is held on by these 3 screws and plugs into the motherboard right here. As you notice in your computer, your fan wires are very, very tiny and they're not very secure in this plug. So definitely try not to pull on the wire. Use your fingernails or a pry tool to get that out of that port right there. And to get the rest of your heatsink up, you have these 3 screws over the CPU area here. Now, I'm not sure why you guys are here, if you're here to replace a bad fan, if you're having overheating issues, or for any other reason, if you're here to clean out your heatsink assembly. But once you get this fan off, you'll be able to vacuum it out, blow it out, clean it out that way. Do be aware though, if you do take up your heatsink for any reason and you expose that thermal paste to air, it does need to be reapplied. I will have a video tutorial link below in the description, also above in the video, and it will be a video showing you how to fix an overheating laptop. One of the things it will show is how to take apart your fan, fully clean it out, but it will also show how to clean off all the old thermal paste from your heatsink and CPU. You don't want to put new paste on top of old paste. And the other thing it will show you is how to apply the correct amount of new thermal paste. If you put too little down, it obviously won't do its job. But if you put too much down, it could end up locking heat in rather than getting it out. So again, I'll have that video tutorial above and below in the description. Another quick thing to shout out about thermal paste, they're not all created equal. The cheaper stuff will work, but the more expensive stuff usually will do a better job. Below in the description, in that link I told you about with all of the upgrade parts and tools and supplies, I will not only have a replacement fan in that list for you, but I will also have a couple different options of thermal paste. As far as the other items in this computer, you have your LCD cable up here. This kind of ribbon cable clip, similar to these over here, these are very fragile, guys. When you're operating these, be very careful. The way that you operate them is you take a small, very, very flat pry tool and you slide it from this direction underneath this black clip and gently pop that clip up. It'll open like a book cover. This part here on the bottom will open up, and this part on top is where the hinges are. If you break that black clip, or same thing over here with that black clip, or this tiny black clip, If you break those, you may not be able to find a replacement. They're hard to find. And if so, your ribbon cables will not secure in there very well again. So that's why I caution just be very careful with those. If you're looking to get your LCD assembly up, you would take out your LCD cable. You would unrun your antenna wire that run through this hinge assembly, and then you would unscrew your hinges. That's how you would get at your hinge assembly. Be very careful of things like this when you're working in computers. This is a warranty void sticker. You'll see these at various parts in computers. If you disturb those stickers, you will void part or all of your warranty. So consult your own warranty first. Find out exactly what those are, what parts of your warranty it voids, but just be aware of what those are when you're going into computers. But that's how you get in your 14G7. That's a majority of the components you can access and upgrade. If you have any questions, check out the FAQs below in the description. Check out the additional information there. It can help you out. If you need to leave me a question or comment, please feel free to. I do try to address those a couple times a day at least. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I look forward to seeing you on my next video.